You're listening to KCXU LP 92.7 FM on your dial in San Jose, California.
Welcome in. This is Belinda Quesada. I'm with Semhar Gehart, and she's from the Tabard Theater. She's the education director. We're going to speak with her in a moment, but I wanted to give you a background about Tabard Theater. It's located in San Jose, California, in San Pedro Square, or on San Pedro Square, in one of the older historical buildings of San Jose. So it's a beautiful, beautiful site. They have an education program for the summer for our youth, and we're going to talk about that with Semhar in just a moment. But first, the Tabard Theater Company is a 501c3 public benefit corporation that was founded in 2001 by Kathy Spielberger Quesada, and it's a different kind of a theater company with more than 400 of the 450 theater companies in the Bay Area. It's distinct in that it has had 7 seasons and performances and venues at their location. And in 2008, the Tabard Theater contracted with the San Jose Redevelopment Agency to become a managing the resident theater company of San Jose, and located in San Pedro Square. It is really a beautiful site to be in, and a beautiful production company, and it's the perfect size, in my opinion, for a theater to go. You feel like you're right there when you're watching a production. Because of the pandemic, the productions have been multidimensional, meaning that they've been filmed and taped for broadcast later, and you can buy your season tickets, and we're going to talk just a bit about that with Semhar in just a moment. But the theater is associated with the San Jose Business District and is a very popular venue for people coming in. It's the home of the Summer Theater Campus for children from ages 6 to 16, and it's the mission to bring the outreach to the underserved. Tabard's Youth Performing Arts Program is an education and an opportunity for children in the area, children and young adults, or young youth, I should say, to have an opportunity to experience theater and some of the beautiful benefits that it has to offer. So with all that, I would just like to close this part of my commentary about the theater and also extend our hearts, prayers, and our positive wishes to the family and friends of the VTA family and those that we lost a few weeks back in San Jose here at that terrible massacre that happened, and it's just, it's just a part of our community that we now are experiencing that awful loss, and at the radio station, we just want to let you know that we are really praying for everyone who's been involved in that whole episode, and hoping that you find peace and solace. And if you have mental health problems, or people that may need mental health services, please call 211. You can just pick up your phone or dial in 211, and you can reach someone at the United Way who it's a nonprofit organization that's set up to give referrals out. And again, our hearts and prayers out to the families and victims and friends of VTA. And we want to go from there. Okay, think positive and be positive. And all right, so let me segue to let you know that you're listening to radio station KCXU FM 92.7. And I'm sorry, Semhar, to bring you in on that note, but you're a delight, and I've enjoyed talking with you. And you are the education director at Tabard Theater, and you're here to talk about happy subjects, which is our children and youth and the programs offered. So without further ado, Semhar Gehart, thank you, and welcome to Radio KCXU.
Thank you so much for having me here tonight, and I'm very excited to talk with you more about our programs for the summer and for this year.
Okay, very good. Excellent. Now, the theater's been open, as I said, since 2001, and has the education program for youth been on for quite a while?
Yes, so the education program has been going on for at least 12 years at this point. It has changed hands a few times in regards to leadership, but we have worked through and been a part of after-school programs across San Jose, and we've also coordinated our own youth conservatory program. We've offered youth main stage productions throughout the school year on our Tabard stage as well in the winter and the summertime, and I think in the spring as well. So we have been very involved and engaged with our local community, looking to bring theater to those that don't usually have access to the arts and extracurricular programs.
Oh, excellent. Okay, and that's of course what the main topic of our program is going to be about, to talk about how youth can engage in this program, how they can participate. You have 3 programs, and I love the names of them. I'm just going to name them quickly, and then I'll have you discuss what the programs offer for the youth. In the Limelight for ages 6 to 10, Lights, Camera, Action for ages 9 to 13, and Digital Acting for Teens for grades 7 through 12. Can you discuss those?
Sure. So our programs are starting next week, June 14th. They will run, the first 2 in the Limelight will be 1 week. And we are focusing on the basics of theater, introducing voice and movement, improvisational skills, and really just giving children an opportunity to be comfortable on stage in themselves, express themselves, to find a little bit of joy, and to be outside playing with others in a time where we really haven't been able to do so.
That's right.
And so our second week, we're doing Lights, Camera, Acting, which is a little bit more advanced, but at the same time, we always are considerate of our age range. If we tend to have more 9 or 10-year-olds in that group, we will accommodate for such things. So don't be discouraged to hear that it's a little more intermediate than the first week. But that's going to start on June 21st, and that's going to be 1 week as well. And the idea is to introduce characterization, begin working with monologues, and to get comfortable with some short scene work in pairs or trios, to just explore embodying a character and working with text at the same time.
Okay.
And then, yes. Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, I want you, yeah, go ahead. Thank you.
And then our third week is going to be for our grades 7 to 12, starting on July 5th. It's actually 2 weeks, and what we'll be doing is doing self-tape auditioning. We'll be working with the cameras and microphones, learning voiceover techniques. We also want to help students now in a time where everything is very much so social media based, and performers and artists are creating careers off of their digital presence, their online presence. We want to help support and cultivate that, provide the tools, and advise students on how to best express themselves in their niche without steering in a direction that's going to, let me start over.
Sure.
We want to help, hold on.
That's okay. It's really, you know what, I see the advantage of kids, because especially since we come off of COVID and lockdown and the pandemic, they haven't been associating with their friends. So going into a program like this allows them time to connect with another person and really get to practice a little bit of their, self-esteem skills, verbal skills, all the confidence-building things that you mentioned for kids. I think it's excellent. And I wish we could have this like in every curricula for kids, because they can benefit from and I know that schools do try to keep a little bit of acting in their little, plays and little productions, that small productions they do in their grades. But I really see the benefit for kids.
Absolutely. And, a lot of the times children are not excited about those little acting classes or those little moments in school because they're too focused on not being good at it, or just maybe not feeling comfortable on stage and not knowing how to navigate that. Whereas if they had the opportunity to really explore and develop that, they would understand and recognize that, everyone starts at point zero. And really the whole point is to enjoy yourself and to explore and to understand a different perspective of life and not to be perfect from the jump.
Right. Self-conscious about it. Yes, exactly. Yeah. But to like practice. So you really give them the opportunity to focus on their own personal, I guess, assets and what they bring to the page, so to speak.
Absolutely. I am a firm believer in empowering what is great in any person. When I meet people, I want to leave them feeling stronger in themselves than they were when they first walked up. So even with, especially with children, I mean, that's the best place to start because they're just oozing with talent and not understanding and not realizing that they are so capable and so ready to be molded into something amazing. So I just want to sit there and help them gain new skills and become more confident in who they are and what they can do.
And do you find that 1 week is sufficient to learn that?
It's hard to say, but I think that it's a good place to start. And what really matters is that the parents are encouraging them to pursue it again and to not just leave it at that. Because sometimes more than 1 week is a bit overwhelming for kids. It's nice to switch gears and to go and spend time at a science camp after that. Maybe that's what they want to do next. Maybe they want to go outdoors and be in nature and climbing. The point is that you're stimulating different parts of their minds. And so I think at the end of it, I think a week is more than enough. And just as long as they're continuing to pursue their artistry, that's what's most important.
Okay, good. And learning to build on the confidence that they may have gotten, that they just learned a little bit. So, I'm so excited for the youth. Now, this is not all day. This is is it 9 to 1? 9 a.m. to 1 p.m.? Okay.
Yeah.
So all of the programs are 9 to 1. The 2 weeks that we talked about in the limelight and lights, camera, acting. And then with the exception of digital acting for teens, that's the 2-week program.
Correct. It's still going to be 9 to 1, but it is 2 weeks.
But it's 2 weeks. But they're older, so I think at that age they can absorb more and take on more, and I think that would be very good for the older youth. And that's at the Tabard Theater. And can you we want to give out the tabardtheater.org is the website, and people can sign up. Is it too late to sign up, or can people still sign up?
Oh, no, people can definitely sign up. We are still accepting forms, and all of the information can be found on our website, tabardtheater.org/education. We have all of the sign-up links there and the camp details in more specific information.
Okay, very good. And now you talked about we want to extend this program for all youth that are interested. And if they don't have the ability to pay, or maybe there's a hardship, maybe mom or dad's not working, or they're in a single parent family situation, and it's just been rough for a lot of people in the Bay Area. And we wondered, is there any type of program for those who might need a little bit of extra help financially?
Oh, absolutely. If anyone is concerned about being able to afford the camp experience, we don't want anyone to be left out of that. So we just ask that anyone interested inquire for financial aid and fill out a form. And once I receive that, we process it and we can offer assistance for those that qualify.
Oh, that's so good. I'm so glad to hear that, because I think so many kids can benefit from these classes. And they just, in San Jose Unified, I know they just started back to school at the end of April. So they were only in school about 6 weeks. So I think a lot of other districts were like that as well. So I think just being around, other youth their same age is going to be so good for them. And they can expect to learn a lot in the class. Do they have to be vaccinated or wear a mask? I don't know that any youth are being vaccinated now, but I'm just curious how that works at the theater.
Right. So I know that as of now, there are children as young as 12 being vaccinated, but we don't require that our campers be vaccinated at this time. We ask that they wear masks, and we do everything on our end to follow the CDC cleaning protocols and make sure that everyone is safe, maintaining a healthy distance. All of our curriculum has been planned with this in mind so that the campers are not touching each other or using the same materials. And we ask that they bring their own lunch on the daily so that we don't have to worry about any sort of cross-contamination in that way.
Oh, that's a good idea. Sure. Because I'm sure a lot of parents may be concerned about that. And just
absolutely.
Yeah, just want to know that their child's going to be safe there. And are the classes large?
No, actually. As of right now, we have about 7 in our first week, but we're, I think, at a maximum we have space for 12 or 15. Yeah, 15 kids.
So, oh, that's perfect. And they can pair off and stuff.
Exactly, yes.
Oh, that's so exciting. I'm so glad you're on to talk about the education program for Tabard Theater, because theater is, I don't have a theater background, but I've always appreciated that. I mean, I know it takes a lot of guts to get up there and to say a monologue that you wrote or someone else wrote, or even a dialogue where you're talking with someone else and you're interacting with them. I'm sure that it's nervous at first for people, and especially, and I don't know, maybe kids would feel like they're less intimidated maybe by that, I'm guessing, and maybe they feel like they can explore different parts of their, personality through acting, and I think it would be great for them. And have you've seen that process with youth go from quiet to like extroverted maybe?
Yeah, I mean, there are some fearless kids out there. I was not one of those kids. It took me a while to get into acting myself, but there are some kids out there who are not afraid to get up on a stage under some lights and speak out to the world without any fear of I don't know, that something could go wrong or anything like that. It's really remarkable. So, I mean, there are also kids who have such a great reverberating voice and tone, and the minute that the stage is filled, or the audience is filled rather, with people, they clam up, but it's in there. And so it's a process, either way, there is some talent in there, and there is some ability to speak in front of people. And I'm excited to get back into that. I'm excited to nurture that and to see where it goes.
Yeah, I can hear that in your voice, and I think you're going to be, well, obviously you are, you're the education director, but I mean, I really feel like you would really work with the child, even the child who maybe was the most quiet, and I feel like because your whole theme is really to let the child express themselves and let them work out those differences, and I think that's so great, because kids need that nowadays. They need an outlet for that. And it's a safe place for them to be who they can be, who they want to be there, and express that, and use a loud voice or use a small voice, and just enjoy that. And I also want to ask about children with special needs and children who may say be autistic and or in a wheelchair. Are there accommodations for kids that may have a special need or two?
Yes. So in regards to having a wheelchair or using a wheelchair, we are wheelchair accessible at the Tabard. So we do have an elevator because we are on top of O'Flaherty's Irish pub in San Pedro Square. So it does require the stairs to get up, but we do have an elevator. And then if a child had a special need, whether it was on the spectrum or just needing a different pace, that is something we could easily work with. Like I said, I want to meet every student at their level and really just see and work towards growth for whatever parameter that is for that individual. There are of course group goals and ideas that we have in mind, but it's time to be realistic that not every child learns the same way and not every child progresses the same way.
Right. That's so true. Okay, let's take a station break here and let you know that you're listening to radio station KCXU 92.7, your community station, and it's a diverse community station here in San Jose. If you want to reach us, you can reach us at KCXU Radio. And our guest today is Semhar Gehart, and Semhar is the education director for the Tabard Theater in San Jose, and we love having you on, Semhar. And what about students that are in your summer productions that may have English as a second language, but speak enough to get by and have gone to school, but maybe they, they just have a second or third language that they speak? I would think that might be useful.
Oh, absolutely. I myself am a child of Eritrean immigrants, so I grew up in a bilingual household.
Excellent.
And yes. I also spent 3 years living in Spain, and I was the one who couldn't speak the Spanish, and it was my third language. So I completely understand that experience. I have a lot of patience for that, having to navigate the world and assist my parents with things and communicating with others because my English was stronger than theirs in certain circumstances. Yes. Mm-hmm. So I love it. I embrace it because that is a talent to be able to navigate multiple languages at once. I want people to embrace their native languages because it was really hard for me when I was growing up to do so. And, not having like a very big Eritrean community here and not having that in the schools, it just, faded away for me. So it's never a hindrance. It's an advantage.
I agree with you 100%. It's always been an advantage to have a second language, and I'm so glad to hear that and grateful that the Tabard Theater has recognized that, in not only in you and your teaching style, but just the fact that they can leave it open and have a collaborative process like that. That is so important for it. It shows youth that they really do belong, that that everyone is welcome in our big circle, in our big tent, so to speak. And the Tabard Theater seems to be doing a really good job of that. I'm really happy about that. So once again, we're talking to Tabard Theater Art Education Director and Semhar Gehart. You are here to talk about the In the Limelight summer theater program, Lights, Camera, Acting, and Digital Acting for Teens. This is your summer production workshop for youth. You called it camp. Is there other productions after this that youth will be invited to participate in, or do you go into a full schedule?
So at this point, I stepped into the role in March of this year. And I'm fairly new to the program, and I'm sort of rebuilding the education program at this point. We have plans to create an after-school program that we can bring to the schools and in our local areas. So we're in communication with schools in the San Jose Unified School District and talking about creating a program that will allow the students to generate their own work. And that would come from improvisational exercises and ultimately lead to gamification. So at this point, it's work in progress, and we're hoping to develop it into something foundational that we can build on and eventually lead to, over the next year or so, as schools are opening back up and people are coming back outside, to bringing youth productions back to our stage.
Oh, I can't wait for that. That'll be so great for the kids. That's really, really good. It's very important for them to find their place, and if they can do that through acting and acting out and learning and participating, that's good. And it's not. I've heard from others that it's not just the theater. I mean, what happens in front of the stage per se. I mean, you might have somebody who's excellent at, say, costume design, or has an interest in lighting or sound or direction, like maybe as a manager of sorts. I mean, there's lots of different jobs in theater. So the children, will they be exposed to some of that?
Absolutely. We are going to create a final showcase at the end of the camp sessions, so for each week. And we're transitioning from digital presentations to in-person now that we're able to have people in our space as long as they're wearing masks. And the CDC guidelines are changing with the masks, the rules.
That's true. That's true,
in this
right.
area anyways. But
That's true,
until
yeah.
we get there, we're still being very precautious. But for the end of the camp sessions, we do want to invite family and loved ones to come see the children and their performance and showcase what they've learned. So that will give them the opportunity to learn a little bit about what goes into mounting a production, even though there may not be the ability to make huge alterations to the stage and the lighting because of the schedules that we have with the theater company and Shylock going on this weekend. They'll still be able to get a full experience of what it's like to feel the rush of places and getting in our costumes and getting prepared to be on a stage under lights in front of an audience.
Right, exactly. Yeah, they're going to get a taste of it.
Right.
That's so exciting for them. Okay. I'm so excited. I hope those of you moms and dads are listening or relatives that know of children who may benefit from going to an acting camp and learning about positive self-esteem, about sharing, about voicing your talent, if they have a creative angle or creative bone in their body, or perhaps maybe they're just a little shy and you think having them at camp might help them with their self-esteem and get to meet other like-minded people. I think it's a wonderful opportunity, and it's at the Tabard Theater. You're welcome to go to tabardtheater.org and sign your child up. And Semhar Gehart, the education director, will be your teacher for the 3 different classes, and I know you're going to be in good hands with her. Okay, so we talked about the importance of theater for children and other opportunities at the theater. Tell us a little bit about you and what was your upbringing like?
So as a child, my upbringing was very active. My parents put us into a lot of sports, which is really funny to look back at now because I don't do those sports anymore.
But it helped you probably with
absolutely
sharing and teamwork and all that.
Yeah, and I'm realizing now I'm a very active person, and I have to embrace that whether I like it or not.
Right.
But I was just going to say I was very shy as a child, and it took a while for me to break out of that and really embrace myself.
Okay, and yeah, that was gonna lead into the next question about what interested you in the theater, how you got interested in theater.
Yeah, I was always singing around the house as a kid. I was very shy about it, and I didn't really have a lot of artistic people in my family. So it wasn't until my mother took me to see a family friend in a production at Peninsula Youth Theater in Mountain View, and I just kind of felt this sensation like, I got to do this. I got to be on the stage. I have to figure out how I'm going to get there. And it wasn't until I started taking acting classes in high school that it just sort of clicked and went into motion. And I started doing productions and went on to college and did theater there. And then when I graduated, I had directed and I had stage managed, and I just found that I really liked all 4 sides of things, the production side and the performance side of theater, and it was a joy.
Oh, how exciting. Yeah, and oftentimes, it's through those extracurricular activities that you do find something that you love. So by offering children a chance to get involved in theater, they're exposing them to a whole nother sets of ideas about what a job could look like as an adult, what you could aspire to be in. When you said you were from an Eritrean background, am I pronouncing that correctly?
Eritrean.
Eritrean. That's South Africa?
East Africa. It's on the Horn, north of Ethiopia.
I think that's fascinating, and we all come from somewhere. So having that background with parents who have, come here, immigrated here, who've worked and, want the best for their children, and who speak a second language, that's such a gift to give someone, in my opinion. And I'm so glad that this area has that diverse, array of services. Now, your particular language, as you were saying, wasn't as popular, and maybe in the culture there weren't. I mean, is it a small community here in Silicon Valley, Eritreans?
I don't want to misrepresent. The community is pretty large, but as an adult, it's not like there are a lot of classes for our language. You can find there are people my age who are giving back to the community, and they're creating classes for the young children that are about 7 to 10 years old, which is really fantastic, and I love that, and I support it 100%. It just was not something that I had growing up, and it just became difficult with everything else going on to pursue it.
Right. Okay.
It's not a romantic Latin-based language, so the characters are different.
True.
And so it's just a bigger effort, and it's very challenging.
You're right. And you said you went to Spain and you were there for 3 years and you had to learn Spanish because you didn't know it initially. And so you can really feel for people that come and that are trying to learn a language and may need the extra support from, their friends and other services for that.
100%, because I took 2 years. No, I took I took 4 years of Spanish in school. But here we're learning Colombian Spanish or like Central South American Spanish, and then I went to Spain and everyone's speaking Castellano, and they're speaking in accents that are so quick and dropping off the ends of their words, and I'm just barely hanging on for the sentence. So it was a huge challenge, but by the end of the experience, I was in a choir singing with other Spaniards, and all of our rehearsals and our performances were being run in Spanish. So I was having to work on music in another language, which was really a great experience for me.
Yes.
Very challenging.
Yes.
And sometimes we would sing in a different language. So it was like I had to sing in like in German or in Italian or something. And then I would have to go back to Spanish and translate in my mind to English, and it was a lot.
Oh wow, that's using a lot of brain muscles there, a lot of brain power. But that's excellent. That's excellent because it really gives you a feel for really being a multicultural environment. Having experienced that, and that's so perfect for what you're doing now as education director at Tabard Theater. These programs are excellent for kids. I'm so happy that you're here and that you're talking about it. So In the Limelight starts June 14th through the 18th, and you said it's not too late. People can still sign up. Lights, Camera, Acting is June 21st through June 25th for ages 9 through 13. And then for the teens, for grades 7 through 12, so basically middle school, high school, digital acting for teens, and that's July 5th through the 16th. That's the only 2-week program for them, and all classes are from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Students are encouraged to attend with their best personalities and ready-to-go attitude and their lunch. Bring a little sack lunch so they can have something to snack on. And COVID protocols are in place. And they're asked to wear a mask. All the youth are asked to wear a mask. I think that's a reasonable request, even though, as we know, June 15th, the state is opened up at the full level for everyone to move about and without a mask. But I guess you'll just take that, it sounds like, as it comes. You'll see how everyone is in the class and then make a determination at the theater as to how you're going to proceed. Because as I said that, I just realized, your classes will be in session during the time in which that ban is going to be lifted for everyone to wear a mask and be, in protocols, safety zone areas, the 6 feet and all that sort of thing. I think it's going to lessen, and I don't think we're going to have that. Right. So that'll be good. It'll be good for kids. And then we just want to go over once again, if anyone would like to join the Tabard Theater Summer Program, and they feel like they know of a child or youth from ages 6 all the way through 18, they can call, get in touch with the theater, go online to tabardtheater.org, and Semhar will be your acting teacher and coach. And if they need special accommodations, can you tell them, Semhar, about any special accommodations and some of the details that I may have missed about the program?
Sure. I mean, if there are any special circumstances or accommodations that are necessary, we're really reasonable at the Tabard, and we just want to help people join us and experience the magic of theater and art together. So if you have any concerns, you can reach out to me and email me and just let me know, or you can make a note in the application as you're signing up for the camp, and we have no problem discussing it with you and finding out what exactly you need, and we can support you through the process. Just as long as there's communication, we can make it work.
Okay, excellent. And I'm so glad that you take children or youth that might be in wheelchairs or be autistic challenged and able to participate in a program like this and be able to help them. And anyone with special accommodations, again, as Semhar mentioned, can contact her online. And your application is available online. And let's see, we just have a few minutes left, Semhar. And we want to ask you more about, so the Tabard Theater is up and running, and they're doing the programs that are virtual, so they're online. This is the theater side of the house in their productions. I know you said that you couldn't speak for them directly, but I know they're doing Shylock. That's their last production. Is that the last production of the season? Do you know?
Yes, it is.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. Because if you go online, it lists all the different productions. And they've been, with exception, I think maybe the first one, if I'm not mistaken, they've all been online virtual productions that they taped and had run online. And how's that going for the theater?
Yeah, so actually what we've been doing is we've been bringing the actors in every performance day, and they perform it live. And we do a live stream where our patrons log on and they watch the stream as it's happening down at the theater.
Wow,
so
that's a different way.
Yeah, so it's been with its challenges, but it's also been really successful, and it's allowed us to connect with people who are no longer in the area, and folks that are in different time zones completely in different countries have been able to tune in, which is really great.
That's true.
There aren't a lot of theater companies that were doing anything during the pandemic, so we were one of the few in the area that remained online and kept bringing in productions that were not Zoom productions. I mean, nothing against that. It's just that we were on stage in person and making it happen.
Right. You get a lot of credit for that, because it was a very, fear of the unknown. We just didn't know, and a lot of people stayed in their homes, and they weren't able, and they worked from homes if they were fortunate enough to work from homes. Not everybody was fortunate enough. Some people had to go out and work. And for those that were able to, that say had bought season tickets or wanted to support your productions, they were still able to do so. And I'm so glad for the creative side of the house too, that your actors and all the production team and support team around the theater, that they were able to work in their passion, work in their career. That's so great. It's really wonderful for people to do that. And not everybody can say they were able to do it, during the pandemic.
Yeah, it's been a challenging time for all of us. So I do want to, send my upliftment and support to everyone, because, we're finally at a point now where we can breathe a little bit easier. I'm sure we still need to be very precautious moving forward, but we've made it through a really, really challenging year. And I'm just very grateful for that.
Amen. I couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you, Semhar. Semhar Gehart is the education director for Tabard Theater in San Jose, California. They're located in downtown at the, you say theater at San Pedro Square, or how do you say your location, Semhar?
Yes, I believe that it's the best way to describe it. That was the name that it had before we permanently sat.
Yeah, that's how I recall it for so long. It was over there. And it's on the second floor, which is really neat because it's like you have to kind of go through something to get there. You know, it's a different. I've seen a couple of productions there in the past, pre-COVID, and it's a beautiful theater, really, really beautiful.
Yeah.
So, and it's small and intimate. It's how many seats in the house?
Ooh, now we've reduced it to about 60.
Yeah, it's a small, intimate theater. Yeah, it's very nice. So that all the children are going to be on stage, correct?
Yes, we do have space below the stage as well, but we're going to be utilizing as much of the theater space as we can, the house as well.
Right, and I think the reason I mention that is because for little ones, and even teenagers, they're not little, of course, but, you know, for young people, I think getting a taste, to be able to have that feel for a real live theater, but not be intimidated by that vastness of that open, like if they were at a larger theater. That, you know, I think that can be intimidating for a lot of people. I know it would be for me, and you know, who doesn't have a theater background, but just for a little one, I think it'd be hard. But I'm so glad that they're in an environment that's like perfect size for them. So when they take the camp classes, they're going to be really feeling really good about it. It's not going to be an overwhelming physical space for them. I think it's going to be very successful, and I'm so excited for you guys, and congratulations on staying open during the pandemic as best you guys can and did. And I'm just so happy because we need to support our theater patrons. I mean, our theater, and we need to support the arts and entertainment community because we missed you guys so much when we were locked down and not able to move about as freely as we're going to be now and in the future. So, congratulations again on that. So Semhar Gehart you're welcome. It has been education director, has been our guest today. And we want to remind listeners that you're tuned in to KCXU 92.7 radio, and it's your community radio station. And you can learn more about us online at kcxu.org. Semhar Gehart, it's been a pleasure talking with you today. You're a delight.
Thank you so much for having me. Excuse me.
You're welcome. Absolutely. You were great, and you told me before the interview that this was your very first interview, and I want to tell you that you aced it, okay?
Thank you so much.
You did a great job. We're so proud of you. And once again, tell us where you're located, the name of the theater, and how people can get a hold of you for the kids' production, the Tabard Theater summer program.
Yes, so the Tabard Theater is located in San Pedro Square on 29 North San Pedro, right above O'Flaherty's Irish Pub and right next to 5 Points. We are offering 3 summer camps this year, and you can find all of the information on our website, tabardtheater.org/education. If you have any questions or concerns, you can email us there, and we can assist you. And I hope you will consider joining us for this summer. It's going to be really awesome. And thank you, KCXU, for having me tonight.
Oh, you're welcome. Our pleasure. Good luck to you going forward. And we want to thank everyone for listening tonight, especially Semhar. She did a great job. It's her first media interview. We also want to thank our founder and CEO and our tech wizard, Manu Martinez, for all his help coordinating today's program. Thanks, Manu. You're the best. And to all of you out there, if you're interested in being a part of our program or volunteering at KCXU Radio, you can let us know if you have a story idea or someone you think is doing something in the community that's interesting and you'd like others to know about it. Please contact us at kcxu.org. And my name is Belinda Quesada. It's been my pleasure to be with you, and I hope and look forward to talking with you soon. And have a great summer, and be well.